WCIA 3 News at 10.
I was on the department for 20 years, and no, nothing this catastrophic, no.
It has been a day marked by tragedy in one central Illinois town. For the last 24 hours, the community of Teutopolis in Effingham County has been dealing with a deadly crash and a chemical spill of anhydrous that swept through the town. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jacob Dickey. We do have breaking news now from Teutopolis. Teutopolis Fire Chief now tells us tonight the city is finally opening back up. Fire Chief Tim McMahon, that is, strongly urging everyone to call 911 if they detect any strange smells as they return to their homes. Route 40 does remain closed for now. That may reopen, though, very shortly. Hazmat team has left the site, and now state police are investigating the crash. We spoke with one man who was getting ready to walk back into his home for the first time since the evacuation order went out.
Worry, getting my family safe, getting them out, not knowing what's going on. We grabbed what we could and just went to my mom. Feeling great, feeling awesome to be home. No place like home.
Emergency crews are clearing Route 40 at this time. It does remain closed between Teutopolis and Montrose. Residents can get back into Teutopolis from the west, from the Effingham area. The hazmat team also has left, and now state police are investigating the scene of the crash. Here's what led to this situation in Effingham County. Illinois State Police say yesterday afternoon around 5, a crash on Illinois Interstate 70, that is, near Montrose detoured traffic onto Route 40. As that traffic was moving through the Teutopolis area, a second crash occurred. That crash is the one that left 5 people dead and several more seriously hurt. It involved several vehicles, one of which was a tanker truck that leaked anhydrous ammonia. That crash happened a half-mile east of town. People within a 1-mile radius of the scene were ordered to evacuate. Crews from throughout central Illinois, they have been on scene since that crash. This is video from the scene last night. Those who evacuated their homes were forced to flee for their safety as the gas cloud moved into town. At one point, a shelter for displaced residents was set up in Effingham. First responders continue to remain on scene and in the area tonight. State officials are a part of responding to the crash. They say this is the culmination of a lot of chaos caused by construction on the I-70 corridor. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Cole Henke is live in the city of Teutopolis tonight. Cole, you've been speaking with lawmakers about the issue all day today.
That's right, Jacob. The crash took place here on Illinois Route 40, just a couple of miles down this road. And this is typically a pretty quiet road right through the center of Teutopolis. But because of all the construction on Interstate 70, a lot of the traffic from the interstate has been rerouted to this road, including a lot of semi-trucks. And lawmakers say there have been a lot of problems caused by this construction beyond the disaster this weekend.
Several accidents since March.
That's Teutopolis Fire Chief Tim McMahon describing what's been happening on I-70 and the surrounding detours. The interstate has been under extensive construction for the entire summer, and his department has been called out there for multiple accidents.
And there again, whether people are following too closely or I don't necessarily know if they're speeding. I don't think so. I think they're just following too close or possibly texting, just not paying attention. Those are the 3 big things.
The tanker truck that spilled over was on Route 40 because it had been diverted from the interstate because of an accident.
The tanker was in the diverted traffic and then had the crash.
State Representative Adam Niemer grew up and still lives in Teutopolis. He says while panic and confusion were common during and after the evacuation, there was another emotion at the front of people's minds: frustration.
A lot of folks are a little frustrated because of what's happening on Interstate 70. Everything being diverted to 40. We've been dealing with this for months in Teutopolis, and now we have this happen.
Niemerg and several other area lawmakers said they had meetings with the state agencies earlier in the summer to try and address the extensive construction problems, but nothing has gotten better.
We've been dealing with this all summer here in T-Town, and we need some accountability there. But first and foremost, we need to get this cleaned up.
Federal officials with the National Transportation Safety Board are spending the night in Teutopolis to assess the damage, and they will give an update on their findings and their next moves on Sunday. Now, Governor Pritzker also issued a statement on his social media accounts earlier on Saturday. He said, quote, Our hearts are with the loved ones of those affected by the car crash and chemical leak in Teutopolis last night. My administration is on the ground, and we will provide state support in any way we can. Jacob.
Cole, you said the National Transportation Safety Board, they're coming to town. What does that mean?
Jacob, we honestly don't know yet, but it is a very significant development here. One of the top leaders of the National Transportation Safety Board is coming to town, along with a 15-member crew. We're going to hear more about exactly what their role will be going forward in all of this, but they are going to open an investigation into this crash, and we'll have to see exactly what the scope of that investigation will be. So stay tuned on WCIA Channel 3 and WCIA.com to find out more about that tomorrow.
And Cole, I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you in the days to come. Thanks for your reporting in Teutopolis. While you may know these crashes that have happened in recent weeks have been really bad as is, this scene today was particularly dangerous, and that is because of the hazardous materials on board that tanker truck. The chemical located in that truck was called anhydrous ammonia. One major use for this chemical is fertilizing crops. The Teutopolis fire chief says it's normal to see around central Illinois that chemical moving this time of year. It's stored as a liquid, but when it leaks, it turns into a gas. That gas cloud is extremely dangerous in high quantities. When fire crews arrived on scene last night, they were initially unaware what the plume was. They realized the danger of the cloud and were forced away from the scene. An east wind pushed the dangerous chemical plume into the city of Teutopolis. The fire chief says it happened very quickly.
It's very quickly. It affects your respiratory system, gets into your lungs, and if you're in the plume, it's very, very deadly.
As of this evening, we have learned all of the anhydrous ammonia has finally been removed from that tanker truck. Testing in the area has indicated the danger from the chemical has dissipated. That tanker truck itself is also no longer located on Highway 40. We have not received word on when exactly Route 40 is going to open back up. That, though, is expected to occur in the near future. As a result of the crash today, last night, and the events today, I should say, several events have been canceled in Effingham County this weekend. That has not stopped the community from coming out to support those first responders working to keep them safe. WCIA 3's Jamal Williams tells us how people took care of their own in the community.
It's our main fundraiser for the year. We try to raise money so we can help people in the community.
That was quickly halted when the chemical crash happened on I-70 Friday night. Teutopolis Civic Club member Jerry Rundy says it's a shame many people couldn't celebrate Oktoberfest and all its fun activities.
German festive beer, German festive food, the whole 9 yards. We were expecting probably between 2,000 to 3,000 people to show up.
Rundy says the resources shouldn't go to waste and decided to give them to first responders and community members.
When it comes to situations like this, obviously this is something that we would have never seen or would never have planned for.
Just hours ago, this town was evacuated, empty and not a person in sight. But that didn't stop community members from coming together to make sure people in Teutopolis got what they needed.
They're fighters. They give 100%. They pray. They're known for their prayers.
St. Francis pastor Joseph Carlos says it's no surprise many people came to help during these difficult times. He says seeing so much people step in shows exactly what Teutopolis is all about.
They're known for their family, their love for God, their love for their families, their love for the community. If somebody in the community is hurting, they all pitch in.
In Teutopolis, I'm Jamal Williams, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
And there has been overwhelming help for those first responders. The support immense after this disaster. It is also expected in Teutopolis that Oktoberfest will return to town next year. Crews from across the region have responded to the crash and the chemical spill in that area. A hazmat team from the Champaign Fire Department went to the scene today. They were part of multiple statewide departments that were there to deal with the ammonia. Other fire crews from as far south as Mount Vernon have responded. We also learned tonight that the Danville Fire Department hazmat team was initially requested to that scene. However, there was assistance that was no longer needed as the chemical was removed from the scene. Around 7:30, those fire departments across the state were notified of that change, but they still remain ready to assist at a moment's notice. Medical teams were also in action immediately following the crash. In addition to multiple patients airlifted from the scene, St. Anthony Hospital in Effingham received patients following the crash. In a statement, they say they received 5 patients from the scene. No information is available on the condition of those injured at this time. Another event canceled in the area. The Effingham Fire Department announces they are canceling their annual open house set for tomorrow. That event allows community members to see their department's equipment and gets the public a chance to meet the firefighters. The Effingham Department is one of many departments responded to this scene this weekend. We have brought you continuing coverage of the chemical leak over the last 24 hours. For more information on the deadly crash and that response, we've got full coverage on our website, WCIA.com. And Seth, I know you have connections to that area as well. Your fiance's family was some of those evacuated.
Yep, and they, you know, their biggest question was, are we going to be able to get home anytime soon? Good thing was that was sooner rather than later. Coming up, we're going to talk about our forecast here in the upcoming week as things start off warm. Details.